You ever hear a story so outrageous you wonder how anyone could just stand by and let it happen? That's how this all began for me, with a father returning home after 8 long years only to find his son locked away like some stray animal, clutching a rotten carrot in the dark, as if it was the last bit of kindness left in the world. Folks will talk about millionaires and custody battles, but none of that prepares you for the day you see your own flesh and blood staring back at you from behind the bars of a pigsty. Yeah, that happened. And let me tell you, everything changed in that one gut punch of a moment. I rolled into Haddington, South Carolina under a gray sky that seemed too heavy to even rain. My SUV crunched over the gravel and I just sat there for a minute, breathing in the old neighborhood, every memory fighting to come back, the way Owen used to run to me at the door, the way I walked out the day the court handed him to Clarissa, my ex. That was 4 years ago. Back then, I convinced myself letting go was the right thing for Owen. Clarissa got the house, the car, and our boy and I just faded away with the paperwork. Out of sight, out of mind, or so I told myself. I didn't show up to cause trouble. I just wanted to see my son, maybe bring him a little Lego set, a blue hoodie I thought he'd like. Clarissa answered the door in seconds, all polite smiles and fresh lipstick, like she'd been waiting for someone but not me. Owen's not home, she told me, her hand blocking the entryway. He's at some school camp, won't be back for weeks. School camp in September. That didn't sit right, but before I could ask more, her new husband Dale showed up. The guy looked like he was carved from arrogance, throwing out lines about how I must have finally remembered I had a kid. And right on cue, a little girl, Emily, their new daughter, came toddling in, and it hit me. There was nothing in that house that said Owen even existed. I turned to leave feeling sick, but as I got to the car, an old neighbor, Mrs. Thornton, waved me down. She looked frail, but her eyes were sharp as ever. "Owen's still here," she said quietly. "I hear him at night. Never went to any camp. I could barely breathe." She nodded toward the backyard, and something cold crawled down my spine. That old animal shed was still there, sagging behind the house, the iron door rusted shut. "Be careful," she warned. "People around here like to keep their mouths shut, but that doesn't mean nothing's wrong." I slipped around the side of the house, each step heavier than the last, and then I heard a small muffled cry coming from the shed. The door creaked as I pushed it open, the smell of damp straw and something sour almost knocking me back. There he was, knees hugged tight to his chest, gnawing on a limp carrot, his face streaked with dirt and tears. He looked up at me, flinched, and whispered, "I'm sorry, I was just hungry. I didn't steal anything." That was my son, not the kid I remembered, but a shadow scared to even speak above a whisper. I dropped to my knees. "It's me, Owen. Dad's here." He shrank back like he expected to be hit. All I wanted to do was hug him, but he flinched so hard when I touched his hand that my heart cracked right down the middle. We just sat there, him trembling, me fighting every urge to lose it completely, until I heard footsteps behind us. Clarissa's voice cut through the air like a blade. "What the hell are you doing?" She was pale, eyes wild. Dale just behind her, arms folded. "Who gave you permission to come into my yard?" I stood up, blocking Owen from their view, my voice low. "How long's he been locked in here?" Dale sneered. "None of your business. Get out or I'll call the cops." I pulled out my phone and started snapping photos, the filth, the carrot, Owen's bruises. Clarissa shrieked, demanding I stop, but I didn't even look at her. I lifted Owen into my arms, careful of the bruise running down his arm. "We're leaving," I said, and when Clarissa screamed, "You can't," I just stared at Dale and said, "Maybe not, but I can call a lawyer," driving away. Owen squeezed my shirt, whispering, "You didn't forget about me, did you?" I nearly broke, whispering back, "Never." The whole ride home I didn't say a word. My mind was blank except for the image of my boy in that pen eating scraps. How the hell had I let this happen? Every time I'd tried to check in, Clarissa sent me photos, a few short videos, always smiling, always just enough to make me back off. And I did. I figured if I kept sending support, I was doing my part. Turns out I was just making it easier for her to hide the truth. I called Parker, my attorney, that night. I need custody. I told him I've got photos and witnesses if I can get them. He reminded me emotion's not enough, Ethan. You need structure, medical reports, third-party statements. Do it by the book or you'll never get him out. I agreed. Anything as long as Owen didn't have to spend another night there. Next, I called Lydia, the lawyer who handled my divorce, the only one who knew how bad things could get between me and Clarissa. She promised to reopen the case if I could get proof. The next morning, I went back to Mrs. Thornton. She poured tea with trembling hands, said she'd testify, and better yet, had an old security camera pointing toward the yard. Set up anything you need, she said. For the first time since I rolled into Haddington, I didn't feel completely alone. What we caught on camera over that week would make your skin crawl. Owen was still in that pen, ignored except for stale bread and carrots. Water pushed through the bars. Nobody spoke to him, nobody hugged him. It was like they'd tried to erase him. On Emily's birthday, with balloons and cake and the whole neighborhood watching, Dale's cruelty got caught on video, grabbing Owen, shoving him down, threatening him with a wooden spoon. That was the final straw. I called Lydia, sent the clip. She brought child services and the cops. The officers showed up right in the middle of the party. Clarissa froze. Dale blustered. But when they opened that shed and Owen stepped into the light, every single person at that party went silent. Clarissa screamed, "He's my son. You can't take him." But nobody listened. Owen just ran into my arms, and for the first time he didn't look scared. Dale tried to grab him back, even slapped me across the face, and I thanked him, because now everyone saw what kind of man he was. Neighbors started to speak up. Mrs. Thornton, the art teacher, even the local grocer. Everyone had a piece of the puzzle, and when they finally put them together, there was nowhere left to hide. The court acted fast. Owen would live with me pending the investigation. Clarissa and Dale were left with nothing but each other and a mountain of shame. Back at my apartment, Owen barely spoke, barely ate, sometimes hiding food like he was waiting for it to be snatched away. Nightmares woke him up screaming. I called Dr. Haley, an old college friend and child psychologist. She said kids like Owen need someone who stays, not someone who tries to fix everything overnight. So I stayed. I cleaned out his old room, found a torn photo of us as a family. Owen glued it together, awkward, uneven, but more whole than before. Media caught wind of the case. Clarissa went on TV crying about her lost son, blaming me. But the evidence kept coming. Letters, witness accounts, videos. The trial was a circus, but when Owen got on the stand holding a worn-out teddy bear and said, "I want to live with Dad because Dad doesn't look at me like I'm trash," there wasn't a dry eye in the place, not even the judge. Clarissa lost custody, ordered to get treatment. Dale was banned from any contact, his business shut down by angry neighbors. Owen and I started over in a small house with a scruffy dog and lavender in the yard. He learned to trust again slowly. We celebrated his 9th birthday with cake I baked myself, messy but perfect. Owen gave me a letter. "Thank you for coming back. I'll never forget that line as long as I live." You know, justice isn't always neat. Some scars take time to heal, and forgiveness isn't something you can force. But sometimes all it takes is one person willing to break the silence, one neighbor brave enough to speak up, one teacher who won't look away. I'm asking you now, if you saw a kid like Owen, would you have the courage to do something? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me what you believe. And if you've ever felt alone or overlooked, remember someone out there sees you, just like I finally saw my son. Take care of yourself and each other. I hope you find your own ending, or at least the courage to begin again.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình là mình.
Vamos supor, você falou um negócio sério. It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble,